I'm Nigel, I'm from Musicmaker in Dublin, and we're here tonight in the 3Arena in Dublin with Micheál Quinn, who's currently playing with Dermot Kennedy. Micheál, thanks so much for coming on and doing this. This is amazing.
My absolute pleasure.
I love how we have your logo from your merch up on the back. Of
and I'm wearing it right now as well.
Oh, no way. Get that in there.
Yeah, there we go. Shameless.
Micheál, this is insane because we've done this before in slightly smaller venues. But this is the second night of 2 nights in the 3Arena in Dublin, which means that by like 11 o'clock tonight you're going to have played to nearly 28,000 people, I think. Just for the show that you're playing. So everyone that bought tickets here are here to see you and Dermot and the band. How does that feel? It must be just insane.
Yeah. I really don't know. I'd say, it's this weird balance between I've been wanting this for so long and waiting for it for so long that it just feels like yes, but then at the same time it's just like what is happening? Because when we did the last one in the Olympia, that was like, oh my god, we're playing in the Olympia.
How long ago was that?
A year and a bit ago, maybe.
So
because we did Vicar Street. We did 2 nights in Vicar Street this time last year. Then earlier in the year we did 4 Olympias. So it was spring 2018, I think. 1 in the Olympia, 2 in the Olympia, maybe.
Yeah.
And now, this I don't know.
Crazy. So how was last night? First night in here. First time playing 3Arena as well.
First time, yeah. It was crazy. The noise was just like, just this wall, just this physical wall, just there. I don't know. Yeah, do you know what was really beautiful? It felt like it was a really nice atmosphere in the room. It felt like everyone was really nice, and it was just a pleasant evening. It was wild, it was out of control, but it felt like a really good atmosphere and good energy in the room.
Oh, mate, I guess there was a lot of Christmas in the air last night.
Yeah.
When was the last time that you and Dermot played here?
In Dublin? Malahide Castle with Mumford & Sons is the last one, and that was in the summer. Yeah. Oh no, Electric Picnic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that was a big show.
That was that was like 55,000 people. Someone clocked. God. Yeah, that was crazy. I came off that stage just like it exploded. Yeah. But this is different because there's a ceiling here. I think it kept the energy in the room. Like Electric Picnic, it can dissipate beautifully up into the sky and you can breathe. Whereas in here, no breathing, no thinking, just holding on.
It's insane. So
crazy. Yeah.
And this is the end of the tour, right? Which has been going on for
90
forever.
days. 90 days. Yeah, so the tour's been 90 days, and then before that we had a week off, and it was festivals up until that point. So I've been on tour since January 1st. Wow. We did our first show of this year on January 1st, and our last show of last year on December 31st.
That's a long time. Is that the longest you've ever toured straight, or?
Yeah. This year has been just relentless. I don't know I think we had 3 weeks off at one point, because Dermot was out of it with his voice.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So we all got a nice break. But this tour has been crazy. This has been the most beautiful experience ever. The whole tour has just been unreal.
And what's next after this? Obviously, tonight is the last night, but when do you pick things up again, or is that?
So January 8th.
January 8th.
Yeah.
So a few days off.
We go to America for a few days, then we come back. Dermot stays there. And then January 26th, we go to America for 2 months. And it's just another tour, yeah.
Do you love it, though? So it's good.
I love every second of it. Even when it sucks and I'm in a real bad mood, I'm like, this is where you're supposed to be.
Just to get some background as well, I guess typically in this situation, in Dermot's situation, they're probably like a guy that comes in drums and bass and guitar and they're session players. But you and Dermot have a lot of history together, and I think you probably started your journey together originally.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you met and where you started and how you ended up in the
how we ended up here. It's funny that you say we started a journey together, because that is it. Because I played music and stuff in school. But it was a choice between music and art when I was going to college, and I wasn't sure which to do, but I went with music. And then I met him very, very quickly at the start of college, and I guess we started playing together, and we just saw something. I don't know. I guess we saw something in each other. The level of ambition we both have, I guess we recognized in each other, and it allowed us to be okay with that level of ambition, because you had a best mate who was just as crazy as you in terms of what they thought was possible. So I think, I guess we did weirdly start it, because he also wasn't sure if he knew he could sing and he loved doing it, but I don't know if he was hell bent on it, and I don't know if I was hell bent on it either. It was probably just
because you were still in the art.
Yeah. So it's probably this like, oh, it'd be so cool to be a drummer. But I think as college went on, it was like, oh no, this is it. Like, this has to happen. This is all there is. And then we like fumbled about for years together.
Where was can you remember what your first gig was together?
I was talking to him about it the other day. There was a few that happened around this time of year, in 2009, so it had to be one of those. We opened for James Vincent McMorrow in the Sugar Club. We opened for De Laurentiis in the Dewdrop Inn in Kildare, and like there was about 4 people there, and we played the matinee show in the afternoon. We weren't the support band for the nighttime gig. So I think it was one of those 2 shows. And it was around this time of year, because we met in September. He came over probably around October time, and we started playing together, and then we were looking for gigs.
Did you say 2009?
2009, so 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So then we did that for a few years, made a couple EPs. We could never understand why it hadn't kicked off. Every second of the journey, we were just like, why aren't we famous yet? Why aren't we like huge, playing massive gigs? No matter how like shit the music was, we were always bewildered by the fact it wasn't working. And I don't think we ever lost that. And now we're bewildered by the fact that it's kind of working. But yeah, we played as Dermot Kennedy for a while, and then I was highly strung, so I demanded we turn it into a band. Nah, he was like, it should be a band as well. And we did that for a few years, and then we broke up the band and went our separate ways for a bit, and then all this started happening. And it just feels right. Like I look at him over there, and I'm like, I've seen this in my head many times before. This exact view. It was always from the left as well, but for years I've seen this. So I just look at him, I'm like, I feel comfortable and safe.
Is it one of those musical romances where it's like as soon as you heard him sing that you were like, oh, I know that this is going to be good?
Yeah, man, the story I tell is ridiculous. So we met in choir, and he was like, oh, I'm a singer and I'm looking for a drummer, and I was like, oh, I'm looking for a singer. And I went home then and listened to his MySpace, and I listened to this song called Silent Church Warm Fire, and I was on my couch beside my mum, and I took out my earphones and I was like, ma'am, I found the guy. It's gonna work.
No way. This is like MySpace that.
Yeah. And it was the first time I heard his voice, and I was like, this is it. Like, I'm gonna do this. And she was like, all right. Like, whatever. But yeah, no. So from the second I heard his voice, some part of me knew all this would happen. And then as time went on, a big part of me knew all it would happen.
That's crazy.
But yeah. From the split second I heard his voice, but his voice is incredible. Like
it's truly unique. I mean, it doesn't sound like there's anyone else out there that sounds like him.
No, he just throws himself into it, and I loved it from the second I heard it. Like, it wasn't just that I thought he was good. I found something in it that I was like, I just love listening to that voice, and it's become a weird like soundtrack to my life now. The last 10 years, Dermot Kennedy's voice has been like a major player in my mind, I guess.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so great that you get to do it when you're mates, and especially when you're far from home, to have an anchor in each other to to remind you where you both came from, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think we do. I think like there's like looks and nods and winks that are just like, we're getting away with it. Like, we don't belong here. Off we go. And yeah, like I was determined that I would have figured this out some way. I would have ended up here some way or another. But to do it with my friend who has belief in me and who trusts me to do what I want back here and to do it properly is just to say it's a dream come true is like, it doesn't do it justice in any way. It's perfect.
Well, I couldn't think of anyone better to do what you do behind here, so that kind of leads us on to your kit.
To the drums.
Let's start with the shells, and we'll move from left to right, and then we'll get on to all this fun business over here.
Yeah, the toys.
So what are you rocking on the auxiliary snare over here on this?
So this is an SQ1, and it's really this is a special drum because we needed a spare snare on the tour, and I emailed Thomas at Sonar and asked. I was like, do you have a spare snare that we could have? And he was like, oh, I actually have something special I want to give you. And he's like, it's been sitting in my boss's office for a while, and he hasn't done anything with it, and I was trying to think of something, and I want to give it to you for the tour. So it's signed by Chris Coleman.
Oh, no
on
way.
the inside. Yeah. Chris Coleman's signature's in there. And it was one of the first ones they made.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And you've had this the whole year, pretty much?
the whole tour, since September. Yeah. And it's like... Right. So normally I have a Power Stroke 4 on it, but we couldn't get one of those in a 14-inch wherever we were picking up skins, so we got a controlled sound. So it sounds...
It's a pretty good substitute.
Oh, yeah. It sounds unbelievable, but when you have the P4 on it, it just, like... The depth of the drum is mad. It just hits you, and... Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
What's the dimensions in shell?
Couldn't tell you. It's 14 by something.
Maybe Thomas can comment.
Yeah. Someone knows better than me. It looks like 6. Does it?
It does.
I think it's 14 by 6.
Okay, we'll say that.
Yeah, and a remote.
And is this
control
tune
sound.
lower?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's
Pretty low.
yeah, good and dead.
Okay.
And then that acts as my rack tom these days as well.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Okay, so what's your main snare then?
Then we have the Benny Greb signature snare, because it's just unreal.
So tidy.
Yeah, with 13 by 5.75. I know that one. And we have the fish lugs on it.
Oh,
Or fish
as
locks.
good as everyone says here?
Oh man,
Yeah?
because we had lug locks and I was just knocking them all off.
Yeah.
But this one, it physically can't spin around anymore than that. Like you can see, they're all pressed right against it because of how much I'm hitting the rim. It's constantly detuning.
Yeah.
It doesn't anymore.
I can't think of a better person to...
to road test them.
Yeah, because like you hit these drums pretty hard, and if that's staying in tune with those things, then I think we can all
no,
say
they're
the
good.
fish lugs are legit.
So yeah, this drum is just beautiful. But you know, I get every now and then I put a 14-inch here, and it's so much nicer to have a 14-inch just aesthetically and comfort-wise. This is a bit more. There's a lot. There's less. It's less forgiving in terms of where you're hitting it.
Right.
Like it's easier, I think, to miss the center of the drum when you're like just in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So you have to pay attention with it, which is nice. But yeah. Every now and then I'm like, oh, I'd love a 14-inch there.
Maybe in the next tour.
Maybe, but then you have to sacrifice having the Benny Greb snare,
yeah.
and it just sounds so good.
And then what's going on with your kick? So obviously you have a Sonar kit. If you want to tell us a little bit about that, starting with the kick.
So it's an SQ2. It was a custom build. So the kit is 22 by 17, and it's 17 because Benny Greb's was 17.
Okay.
And I was like, if it's good enough for Benny Greb, it's good enough for me. And I don't like the skinny. Well, for what I play, I don't like the skinny sort of kick drums.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want an 18-inch Canon sort of vibe. And I just, 17 just seemed like the right distance.
Mm-hmm.
So it has all the punch and like ferocity of a big drum, but then it doesn't have a lingering sound.
Do you notice any response difference with the 17? Does it feel different under the foot, or is
like because I don't have anything to compare it to with this drum, I don't know, but I just know I'm more comfortable with this than I am my 16-inch kick or the 20 by 18 or 20 that I have. This is the most. I like the distance, how far away it looks. Like it just feels comfortable, and then it feels like a beast.
Yeah.
But it's not a huge drum, so it's exactly what I want. And I think it's a medium ply maple shell. I don't know. I suck at all that stuff. I never remember.
Again, we'll have to get Thomas to to comment on.
Because I talked to Oisin and yourself and Ronan a good bit about it when I was designing them, but I just trusted all you guys, so I wasn't too concerned. And then when I came back, I was like, it sounds unreal. Great, that's what I need.
Well, you just can't go wrong with Ronan and Oisin. Like, what they don't know about drums is not worth knowing. So, like, you're
true.
always in good hands. And what about the floor toms? You didn't always have 2 floors, did you?
No, so on this tour is the only one that is the first one we've started playing with the 2. Because I was just getting a bit, when you only have 1 floor tom and not even having a rack tom, doing fills was just getting really uncreative and dry, and I was running out of space.
You're just repeating yourself a little bit too much.
Yeah, and I just did. It felt like it felt like I was doing a painting with like only 4 colors when I needed 6.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's not a thing of like you find your creativity with restrictions. It was just no. I need another thing to get what I need out to lift these songs the way I want to lift them. So we have a 14 by 14 floor tom, which is nice because you can get it kind of high and it has that musicality to it. But then because it's so deep, I can sit on that as my floor tom, and out front through the PA, it does exactly the job.
Yeah.
And that means then you have the extra space to go onto the 16-inch. You're not just relying on that.
Bang at the end again.
So it's a 16 by 14 and a 14 by 14. But we were going with Power Stroke 4s on them. But around America, I had Emperors, and they were just really musical, like overly musical at points. And I missed that. So for tonight, or these shows, I was like, oh, we're in a bigger venue. Like, we should clear heads is what people do, isn't it?
Right.
And then Steve, drum tech Steve, was like, yeah, that's the move, let's do it. And so we're sitting with Emperors on them now, and they just have that bit more of attack and a bit more
Loads
like grab in the room.
Yeah, when you're tech Steve Muncaster, right?
Muncaster, yeah.
He was doing a quick tune on those, and they sounded unbelievable. Loads of lovely slap off it.
Yeah,
really
they're
good.
gorgeous. So, and what's great about having Steve as well is these drums have a huge potential in them. Like they're ferocious, unbelievable sounding drums. But you need someone who knows how to get it out of them.
Right.
And every now and then I can get it out of them. But I have no problem saying I can't do it all the time. They're beyond like me getting to that perfect place. But Steve, every night, finds that place.
Yeah, he got it real quick there during.
Yeah, and there's different points. Like I'll get up to and it'll be a different way. But whatever it is, he's the balance of the top and bottom head. He just gets it where it wants to be. Yeah, the way we communicate about the tuning is brilliant because Will, the sound engineer, is involved heavily. And then Simon is like the hype guy who just loves the sound of them all the time. He's our monitors engineer. But I'll sit up and play them, and then I'll tell Steve what it feels like to play them and what the feeling I want is if it's not there. And within 5 minutes he has it, and I'll play them again, and it's like, oh, that's the feeling I was looking for. It may like some nights I'll be like, I want to just like, I want my lower back to push me up so that I want to sit higher on the drums, and he manages to get the sound to make me do that.
It sounds like you've got a lot of people in your corner that are into drums, which is probably unusual for most productions.
yeah, people hate the drums. Like, now I do make a lot of noise, and I imagine people like, just stop it. But no, everyone wants. I think they realize how good the kit is.
Yeah.
And they want it to be as good as possible, and then they have an opportunity to get an incredible drum sound. And as a sound engineer, I imagine you want to be impressing people with that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And when you have an instrument this good to do it with, I think everyone's on board to get it sounding as good as possible.
That's great.
But that reflects, I think, the attitude of every single person involved in the whole team, that everyone wants it to be as good as they can possibly get it. So, like, from Will out front to Chloe who runs the merch stand to the lads running the video wall, everyone believes in it and wants their role to stack up to what everyone else's role is. So it means it's this thing with all this energy of how good can we get? Like, where is the point of that's how good we can do, okay?
Yeah.
You're always striving to be what's the best that we can do here. And then some nights you reach it and you're like, oh, okay, that means there's another place we can get to.
Yeah.
And when you have that attitude in a team like this, in a project like this, it's just, you feel it pushing it forward. Which is probably why we're somewhere like this in this quick a time.
It looks like it's one of the best shows going. So I think tonight and in January when you're back on the road again, everyone is going to feel the results of that bar being pushed every night.
Yeah. We're going to know. Now there's a new standard.
Yeah.
You don't get to slip back below that. And that means the shows will be cool then.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Well, let's move on to this side of your kit, which if anyone is on Instagram and follows Micheál, of which there are a lot of people, you'll know all about this section here. So can you tell us a little bit about your stackers with your hats and everything, and let's maybe start with the hats.
Hats, yeah, the Cobra lives there.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the 14-inch click hats, and I got them before this gig happened, and from day one they've been the most perfect hi-hats for underneath Dermot's music. They're just like, they bite at you, and then they're really tight when they need to be. They're like, they're just
naturally
great.
gated or something.
yeah. So they're wonderful. Then this is an AAX Ozone. So Ronan made this in Musicmaker. This is one of his little babies.
Stackmaster.
Yeah. So it's an AAX on top of a mini China, but I broke this mini China to bits.
Whoa.
So we got a new one, and I somehow kept this one. I didn't give it back to you. And one night, one night the sound engineer was like, your extra stack is just too loud.
Okay.
So I put this on, and I was like, maybe this will just bring it down a bit. And it deadens it so much, and it makes it fit in with the setup way better. So it's a triple little stack.
Does it add an extra little bit of bite to it as well?
I
Or
don't.
is it just cutting the volume down?
I think it just cuts the volume. I think it just kills it and like stop. So there's no potential of it being loose and floppy now because there's 3 pieces of metal together. Like they just work. And then this is
when this is being built, did you have something in mind? Like,
no, I would. Were
like
you
a
around?
sound?
No, I was going into Musicmaker just picking the cymbals and be like, right, I'm getting my cymbal set up, and this were just there, and I just grabbed them. I was like, if I'm getting all this stuff, I might as well just get some toys as well.
Yeah.
So it was just, I'll grab that thing.
And these actually end up emulating quite closely a lot of the electronic stuff that happens on Dermot songs.
Yeah. No, they're perfect for the gig. Like I don't know what I'd be doing without them, and I don't know if I would have had the sense to come up with them if I hadn't got them. Yeah, I would have just been sitting with the hi-hat, and then we would have had loads of electronic hats in the track, I'd say. But this cut out a lot of need for that. Yeah, they're so instrumental to it, and it's becoming a little thing of like, this is part of Micheál's setup. Like it's those 3 things there, which is cool. It's nice to have a little signature like that.
Oh, for sure.
And then these are the Radio Nana hats, which are just the coolest little
They're
things.
pretty sick.
They sound so sick, yeah. They're just...
Do you change the tightness of it during the gig as well, or?
Yeah, for Glory, I get it really tight. Like, because I want it to be really dead when I'm going nuts. Just... Oh, no, it's not going to work right now. I got to spin it back down.
Okay.
But Glory, I have it really tight. Moments Past, it's a little bit more open. Because that song's a bit more like... Actually, no, they're both big and aggressive, but I just like it really tight during Glory. Because when I bounce off of it, I can move really fast around.
Okay, and then what's your first crash here then?
This is the HH Ozone. It's just awesome. It's perfectly dark and bright. I don't know, this whole bit just all suits Dermot's sound. Like the tone of his voice and his guitar and his music, I think anyway, it just works with it. But this is a new one, we got on the road because I broke the other one. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
That is bitey.
Yeah,
I like it.
And then we got the little tambourine. So I won't use any other tambourine than these ones.
Okay.
It's the LP Cyclops. I've played so many tambourines because this one's getting worn.
Oh, so you got a backup.
Yeah. Because I was like, once I saw one in the shop, I was like, oh, I'm getting it. I haven't seen that in the shop in a while. And it's so warm, and like, I know it's a tambourine, but I could sit here with 10 tambourines and pick this one out. Like, this is the best one. It's just so nice. So I have 2 of those.
Does that get a lot of use in the set?
Yeah. So this, I'll show you a little bit where I'm going mad on this.
Mic.
They all play off each other really well, and like you're throwing bits and pieces in between each other. So it's it gets a lot of use. And then I throw this one on here for one song, just get a bit of that going.
Gotcha.
So that's that side.
Cool. And then what about starting over here on this side?
So this is the Artisan 22-inch medium.
Nice.
Which is just the best ride cymbal there is, because it's like the wash off of it is just too much in the best way. It's just so big. So when I'm laying in, and there's a couple songs where it's just on the bow and it's just huge.
Yeah.
So you feel enormous while you're playing it, and you're like, it lifts you up through the song. And the bell with a ride cymbal, the bell is the thing.
Yeah, and a lot of people talked about the bell last night on when you took over the Sabian Instagram yesterday. Congratulations! By the way. I think it's the first time an Irish drummer has done that. I think.
Oh no way!
Cool. Yeah. There's loads of comments about the bell on this cymbal.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't see that. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, there's bits where I'm putting it in where it doesn't belong, just because I'm like, it's so good, everyone's gonna hear it now. So in that beat where I'm going.
Ah, nice.
Throw it in around there, and Like it doesn't belong there, but I just put it in because it's so nice, and it cuts through everything.
If you're getting away with it, keep
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah, exactly.
And next up,
Oh,
this
the poor legacy. So I just wanted to leave this on because just
so
to show
nice.
you. Yeah, yeah.
It's also hard to let go sometimes, isn't it?
It's the most beautiful crash cymbal in the world. The Legacy Ozone Ride, but it died last night.
Yeah, it's so bent now. It's a big crack.
Yeah, it's just not there anymore. So that one I think is out. It breaks my heart. This is the best cymbal in the
I
world.
feel like we need to put it on a boat, set it
Just
off
send
into
it
a
out to
lake,
sea.
and then just like set it on fire with a
Oh, that'd be
flaming
so
bow.
nice.
Just it's been so good to you over the last few years that.
Is there another crack in it?
Oh man.
Well, no, this is like my fifth one.
Oh,
I think. Yeah. Oh, I go through these. Since I started playing with Dermot, I think this is my third
Oh, that's
or second.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
But
going to be a
it's-
lot harder to get now too.
I know. I was thinking of coming to you and Christian and be like, can we make like 10 of them?
Yeah.
And I'll just keep 10 of them
Yeah.
somewhere, and then I'll have it for the
Can
next like
definitely
5
do
years.
that. I think yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Dude.
cool.
Are you going to swap that out tonight?
So yeah, that's why I'm taking it off. So this has won me over, I think. So this now, I haven't used this for a gig at all. I've never played it even with the drums.
They're pretty new too though.
So it's a HHX thin complex 20-inch.
Absolutely beautiful cymbals. They're just perfect.
The initial is real biting. The initial hit off of it. Class. Well, that's going to be fun
You're
tonight.
gonna hit that a lot tonight.
Yeah. We'll see how warped I can get it in one go.
No, don't do it. And on the end there, you've got a
So
new
this
one,
is a new
actually.
edition. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was Steve, drum tech Steve again, was doing a gig, so he picked up all his gear and he showed me that cymbal one night, and I was like, "Oh, this is gorgeous!" And he had a stand. So I was like, "Well, do you want to set it up?" I was like, "Absolutely!"
Oh, amazing.
But so I don't use it that much because it's tucked away at the back. It's really just a toy for me to play with the other lads as well. Like when they see me playing it, they're like, "Oh, he's having fun over there."
Is that going to sneak into your bag?
No, I can't do that. No. If anything, it'll make me just go buy one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised though. Steve is like a gent so much that I wouldn't be surprised. He's like, you just take that cymbal, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the cymbal setup.
Amazing.
I love it.
Well, what about electronics? Because there's a lot of different stuff on the floor and all around the kit here. So why don't we start with triggers?
Okay, well, we should start with the pad.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
that's
okay,
the
cool.
brain, and it all runs into that.
Makes sense.
So on the pad, we have every song, and all the like sounds from the tracks. You just put them in here,
Yeah.
and so there are parts where I just play the whole beat from the song on the pad with all the original sounds, which is quite cool because it means it keeps it close to the music, the tracks. So just every song has all their own different kits, and it's a little maze of like, I don't have any uniformity. So the kick drum in one song is up here, and then down there, and then
Is it just what feels right for the pattern?
exactly,
basically?
yeah. So whenever we're doing them, me and the MD will sit down. He'll just throw them all on into any order and be like, right, figure out what you want to do there. So for this one, the first song in the set, the pattern is all it is. If you're playing the kit, is just that, but the pad is
It's all over the place.
it's like that. So I just go with what
Yeah.
feels natural and what I know I'm going to lean into nicely. But it takes me a minute in rehearsals to get them in the right place.
Right.
So like, there's kicks all over the place. This one, this is a big floor tom, and this is a big floor tom, and it's that's the pattern, and I go. Like that.
Was whatever flew off important there?
Nah, it was
No?
just
It's
it was
okay.
just a cushion off that. It's all good. So that's the brain. Then we have triggers on the kick and snare that are attached to that.
Mm-hmm.
So then, when I play the kick or the snare, we can have the sample come through with it as well.
Yep.
So there's a few songs where it just means the drums are just these enormous processed drums
Okay.
in the PA. but it makes it kind of tricky if I want to be playing ghost notes in a like groove.
Does it cut them off?
It can trigger the sample at full volume.
Okay.
So there's a few songs where I want to be playing ghost notes, and it's just not an option. But that keeps me from messing too much.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good thing.
And you've 2 triggers on the one snare as well.
Yeah. So then all the other ones, this trigger, this one, and those 2, are for the sound engineer. So he puts them on. They act as a gate. So this mic never opens until this gate opens it.
Okay.
So it means all the mics are off if I'm not hitting them. So there's no spill from other parts. So Will has a really controlled mix out there. So yeah, every drum has a gate on it, and it just means that I have to hit it for it to be heard.
Okay.
Which is it's a bit like of a control freaky thing, but it means things are really like tight and they're in control of everything out there. Yeah. So that's what those triggers are about. And then we have a foot switch here. So I start the songs, and the tracks, they all come from this, and then it starts the video all as well.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So I can't be messing about, because I used to when a song is started, I'd just be doing this, just messing with the guys, trying to just cock them up a bit, and now that's just a no-go. But that's into the pad as well.
Okay.
And then it runs over to, there's 2 laptops over there.
So you have a lot going on back here.
Yeah, I'm a busy boy.
The whole show is coming off your left foot.
Yeah. So I start every song, and it's on me. So say the flow of a gig, I have to kind of read the room, and Dermot will look back and give me nods if I'm taking too long. He'll be like, get it going. But I'm in charge of when each song starts, and it's a lot of power to hand me.
That's cool though.
Yeah, no,
that's
it's
really
not,
cool.
because it means there's nights where I'll be like, nah, that's a good cheer right there, I'll just let it breathe.
Yeah.
And then other times, if we're just not into it, I can tell, and I have to be like, right, I'll just get the guys through this. Yeah,
I'd say a lot of the time though, you're just wanting to let that applause go for longer. This is so cool.
Yeah, these days as well, because they're so big, you're just like, well, I want to enjoy this. But
what's going on down here? We've another switch. Is this for like talkback or something?
So yeah, this is my talkback mic. So this goes into the sound engineer's ears, the monitors, all the crew, and everyone on stage, but not in the PA. I am not allowed in the PA.
No.
But yeah, so in between songs, we're all talking to each other, and if things are going wrong or if there's anything I need, I can talk to the guys, and then we just have a bit of a laugh between ourselves as well then. So it keeps it quite not serious. Yeah, it doesn't, like, we don't, the spectacle of it all gets dulled down in a nice way, and it's just the 4 of us kind of having a laugh. And it keeps you...
How often throughout the set are you talking to each other?
Constantly.
No way.
Between every song. Yeah, but there are nights where you can tell none of us are in the mood, or you can see Dermot doesn't want it going on back there, and we keep it down.
Yeah.
Or if someone's having a rough day, you can tell instantly once the show starts, like, oh, they're not on the talk back.
Okay.
Cool, they're having a tricky day today.
Yeah.
So it's great. I think as things grow, it'll be a really interesting way of keeping
vibe.
Yeah, and keeping track of how everyone's getting on.
Yeah.
Because say we do 5 shows and one of us isn't on it, I check in. I'd be like, we need to talk. Are you okay? What is it? This is bigger than just a bad day.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting thing that I don't think we understand the gravity of it actually. Because I know it's just a silly mic that we talked to, but I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a big part of the show.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think it keeps us having the same vibe going that we've had since day one. We're like, where we're on small stages just talking to each other. We're like, well, we're now in an arena talking. And when the crowd goes nuts, we'll always like, this is mad. Like, listen to that stuff. And everyone's just laughing around us. It's really beautiful.
And I guess all this type of thing isn't possible unless you're wearing some in-ears, because you're so far away from everyone on the stage that, a bit of banter is impossible unless you have a setup like this. So what in-ears are you using at the moment?
Cosmic ears, CE6Bs.
Okay.
They're the bass heavy ones.
Okay, yeah.
When I got them, man, the sound off of them. I was destroying the drum kit because music had never sounded so good in my ears. And I had my pack up way too loud, and I was just laying in as hard as I could. I was breaking like a couple of sticks every night, going through skins. I broke 2 or 3 cymbals, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no. So I've turned my pack down since, but they're unreal. I love them.
Have a lot of ambience coming in as well, or like at the end of songs and stuff?
Yeah, so Simon is, the game he plays is so good. When I do big drum fills, he raises up the overheads.
No way.
Yeah, or he'll turn up the ambient mics from the crowd at certain points in songs to give us, like when the crowd sing a bit. And then at the end of songs he turns it up. But there's a microphone underneath the riser. It's a crunch mic.
Okay.
So it picks up just the the sound of all the kit together, and
Yeah.
it's mixed in with everything, so it has this real organic crunchiness to things. And then recently he added in with, see that mic over there?
Yeah.
There's one of those on each side of the stage, and they're in our mix, but he's put a crunch on those too, so you get a sense of the room every night. So I have the room reverb with a bit of like extra crunch on top of it. So like my mix is crazy good.
I have to get
so
a listen
good.
to that at some
And
point.
I'll get you a pack actually, and you can listen to some stuff. So there's bits where I'm playing like big floor tom heavy stuff, and he throws on loads of delay in our ears, so it just turns it into like a huge stereo delay of
Unreal.
and it means your performance then is lifted so much when all I'm doing is going. In my ears it's and it just makes for such a cool thing to be playing.
It's essential, because if it's not managed correctly, I guess, you know, you can lose a lot of atmosphere, but it sounds like you have plenty of atmosphere.
Oh,
in
like
the mix.
it's relentless. Like it's so good. Every night afterwards, I'm in awe of him. I'm like, he is the reason this is good.
Amazing.
I really do think that. I think he plays one of the biggest roles with one of the least amount of recognition to it. Yeah. He makes my life awesome.
Oh, that's class. And
Yeah.
I guess you can't do all of this without using some drumsticks. So recently, you've been got an endorsement with Big First. Congratulations.
Yeah, it came through. So it hasn't been announced yet. But I know it's all good. I sent in my artist profile thing and all that. So they're going to do it in the next run of people. But yeah, that was a really cool moment.
So what are you playing?
Buddy Rich signature sticks. And much to everyone's dismay, I think they're the best stick in the world. Everyone's like, you break them all the time. Like that's, so look in the stick bag. They're my sticks.
Okay.
They're broken sticks.
Oh, wow.
Look at this.
That's a lot of firewood for the Christmas fire.
Yeah. Gotta keep them.
Yeah.
We cable tied that one back together. But yeah,
I've
no,
never
Buddy
seen
Rich
a
sticks.
cable tie in a stick before.
Yeah. But the weight of them, I just think, is beautiful because they're kind of heavy, but they're not a heavy stick.
Yeah.
So it has a bit of pull from it. And then the length of them, I can sit back. And they're a bit longer than normal, and I like that. And I love the way there's no tip on it. It just blends in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people hate that. And then I just love that it's white. It's kind of flashy and
it's one of your favorite drummers.
yeah.
stick as well?
Because my kit is this because of him.
Yeah.
It's like white marine pearl. If it was good for Buddy,
Yeah.
good for everyone. And the way he played the drums, he just destroyed them. And he was like, "How fast can I go? How hard can I go? I'm the best at this." And I loved his attitude. So yeah, I feel a little you're carrying a bit of spirit with you as well. It's like I owe a lot to him.
Yeah.
Like every drummer does. Everyone owes something to Buddy Rich. So I think it's really important to
There's
carry
a bit
that
of
around.
a bit of him with you every night.
Don't
which
know.
is
Yeah. At least I'm
also pretty romantic, I think.
yeah. I'm bringing him around. I'm trying anyway.
Real quick, is the hardware uniform, or is it kind of a
No, it's all Sonar.
all Sonar?
Yeah, and it's great because it all goes down very low.
Oh, cool.
So if I want,
because you
like,
sit quite low as well.
yeah. So the ride cymbal, like I can get the ride cymbal down to here.
Wow.
And then we have JK drum systems holding it all in place. So like
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
nothing's moving. Yeah. So early on in the tour, we figured out exactly where we want stuff, and then Steve set up the little clamps that hold it in place. So even when he sets it up, it's a quick thing.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is just so solid and tied down. Yeah.
Yeah, because that riser was moving last night, so it's a good job that you're locked in.
Yeah.
I love how everything is tied down back here as well. It's
Yeah, even my board. And did you know we weren't using a board for a while, and one night I fell, and the rubber on the stool went through the metal on the stool went through the rubber and down through the riser.
Oh no.
And none of us realised that would happen. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh no, okay. So then the next day we got a board of wood, and then I kept like sliding off of it, so we strapped it down, keep me in place.
That's unreal. Well, Micheál, there's a lot of squawking. Looks like there's a show that needs to get going here, so we better head. Micheál Quinn, thank you so much.
Nah.
Best of luck tonight. We're going to put links to your merch and your Instagram down below this video on YouTube, and links for Dermot Kennedy also. Tonight, 3Arena, last show of the tour. Dermot Kennedy back on the road in January for
Forever.
Forever. Check it out. Amazing music. Thanks so much for watching.
Nice one.